Welcome back to Out of Touch, episode number 41 with John, Dustin, and Mitchell. Welcome back, Dustin, from your 1 week hiatus. Hope you enjoyed your what is that, a sabbatical. I think sabbaticals are usually longer than a week, but I hope you enjoyed your week away from the world of Out of Touch.
I did. I was resting my vocals for Friday's Pacers game.
That's right. Dustin and Mitchell, attendees at Game 3 of Pacers-Knicks, which has, I almost want to say, quietly become the most fun playoff series, but I don't even think it's quietly. I think it's, without a doubt, the most entertaining playoff series right now in the NBA. And I'm not somebody who really enjoys the NBA a whole lot. I've made that known on this show. But I found myself sitting on my couch Friday night and taking in Pacers-Knicks, the one that you guys were at, and heck, that was fun. Just to watch for mine, but you guys were there in person, obviously.
It was a ton of fun. That's the first playoff game I've been to since 2014, I think. And I went to one Pacers game earlier this year. It was Abby's first game, and it was the first time that I was able to meet Mitchell and that the four of us all met. So it was really awesome for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Andrew Nembhard, who played like garbage the entire game, hit a step back three to win it. Oh my God, going insane.
Yeah, it was a blast. And there's just something about, I don't know, Pacers-Knicks has an awesome history, obviously. Even in like our lifetime, because I think a lot of that stuff was happening like late 90s, and I was alive, but I wasn't really like paying as close of attention to the Pacers when like Reggie was scoring 8 points in 8 seconds or 9 seconds, whatever it was. I knew what was going on, but I wasn't like diehard Pacer. But even now, there's just something about the Knicks. I don't know if it's the fans or whatever it is. Nightmare fuel. Just want to beat them by 1,000. And the Pacers, I've watched a little. I won't call myself the biggest NBA fan. I'm not watching games night in, night out. But I have a hard time believing there's a more fun team to watch than the Indiana Pacers. They just jack up threes, get run-out dunks, and now that they're actually playing some defense in the playoffs, it's a blast. I don't know if they got a chance to win it all, but I have no doubt they're going to win this series. No doubt.
I gotta say too. So I just want to make it clear I was alive, and I do remember that. The 8 points in 9 seconds was on May 7th, and that was like the day of my birthday party because my birthday is the 8th.
Yep.
So it was like the most exciting birthday party day.
Was it a Pacers themed birthday party? Were you that into it?
I don't think so, but I know that the game was on and everybody was watching the game. Like it wasn't very much my birthday as much it was just like a Pacers watch party, which was fine for me, even as like a whatever I was 7, 8-year-old at the time. But yeah. I have to tell you a funny story because this was equal parts funny and awesome all at the same time. So where we sat for the game, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15, probably not 15, but maybe 8 to 10 rows up. There was the most obnoxious Knicks fan who was just yelling treachery the entire time. And the funniest part is I got to see what Mitchell's like at a game. And the funniest part was at some point in the game, it was like Mitchell and Abby were like beating.
She's as crazy as me, by the way.
Yeah, throwing it back at this guy. It was awesome and hilarious all at the same time. It was fantastic.
I lost my mind a little bit. I don't even remember what happened in the game, but place goes nuts. I mean, that arena, when it's rocking, is so loud.
Yeah.
I get lost in it. I turned around and I was ready to fight that guy for no reason. I don't even remember why, but I remember after I was done yelling at him, I turned around like, I need to take a couple deep breaths here. I'm a bit of too much of a psycho.
Does Laura have to like calm you down, especially when you're both at a game in person? Does she let you kind of rage?
I wouldn't even call it rage. It's not like I'm angry. I'm angry, but it's more like passionate. It's a very fine line between psychopath and passion.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time she's right there with me. She's much more subdued. But if you like sat next to her, you could hear like making little noises. She gets as much into it, and it's so funny. Like I think she liked sports before, but since it's my entire personality, she's been so awesome of just allowing that to seep into her life a little bit. And I think she actually cares, but whether she does or doesn't, it means a ton to me that she goes in there with as much fire as I do,
Yeah.
because it makes it a lot more fun to watch. And I think it's the same thing with Abby.
Yep.
Dustin is the quiet one in that one. She's ready to rock. She said it in the very beginning. I think as long as we're on the same team, we would have a lot of fun watching games together. And after watching that game, I totally agree. And I think it would also be a bloodbath if we weren't. And it would be her giving it to me. I don't think I'd be able to keep up. She is awesome. She is awesome.
Not. I don't know. This isn't meant to be a call out or anything, but I know Abby has a very active Twitter account and big Nebraska fan, and I see it all the time. It's something that I've never interacted with it personally, like got into it or anything like that. But it's one of those things where if I was heated for whatever reason, I feel like I would just get pummeled. I wouldn't last.
Yeah. Going on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, that's swimming with sharks. That's where the sharks live. If you're going to be a little guppy and go in there half effort, you're going to get
not coming out alive.
Out. You got to be a hardy veteran to go in there and fight with the sharks. Don't worry.
On Twitter, I just stay in my little corner and I'll say funny little comments every now and then. Maybe they're not even funny. They're just funny to me. And I'll just go back and
if you ever want to swim with the sharks, John, you just tell me. I'll bring you in.
You're like Bruce and I'm Nemo and Dustin's Dory. We're just hanging out. And you're the, I don't even know what Bruce does. He's not their mentor, but he does something with them in the.
I'm ready. I'm ready to scrap. Is all I'll tell you. I don't know whoever it is, doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll just fire it off just to do it. You want to get in a Twitter fight? We can do it anytime, John. I will bring you. It's so much fun, and you'll be addicted. And then you'll be a loser like me that just gets on Twitter to tweet at people just to rile them up for no reason.
Well, the guy I work with, Nick Coffey, shout out to him. He
responded to one of my tweets
recently.
Right? Yeah. Well, you keep going. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna find it.
He just likes to go to the your mom route. Whenever people are trying to own him on Twitter,
I love it.
Your
it's
mom
phenomenal.
That's a good route to go. I like that. Yeah.
That's infuriating.
Because on Twitter, piss people off.
On Twitter, people think they're so smart and they're going to convince you that their argument is right. You could have the most sound argument, no flaws. You can just be correct, and you're never going to convince anybody anything. So once you learn that and you start playing those kinds of your mom games, I mean, people will come out ready to fight you.
It really is kind of while you're looking that up, it just feels like it's. I don't know if it's a get out of jail free card, but it's almost like the insult that trumps all insults. Like there's a certain sector of people, and I don't know if they're just doing it to exacerbate things, or exaggerate things. Are those the same word? Do exacerbate and exaggerate mean the same thing? Or did I just use two totally different words that make no sense together?
I don't know. I've never heard the first word before.
But people will overreact to your mom jokes, or at least it seems like they're overreacting. Like, hey, you don't talk about my mother like that. And it's, fun fact, this being, I guess, the episode after Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there.
Yeah.
But I guess people get really protective of their moms.
If it's 2024 and I say your mom and you take that personally as me attacking your mom, you belong in jail. Like you do not have rational thought and you need to go to jail. And then you go on Twitter and you're exactly right. People are like, you don't talk about my mom. You don't even know her. Like, well, you're right. That's the whole point of the joke. But I did find this reply. He replied to my tweet from the Pacers game, actually. So very topical. I took a picture of this guy, this Knicks guy that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Kind of right in his face.
This guy stinks.
6 rows away from him, and I put "this guy stinks" in all caps.
Oh, I did see that.
And then Nick Coffey replied and said, "Kick his ass, Paige." And I just liked it.
I'll have to bring that up to him tomorrow.
I didn't know who it was, so I just liked it.
Yeah, that's the host I work with in the afternoons at iHeart.
Oh, is he going to bring us on the radio or what?
hey, maybe down the road, if I'm ever filling in for him and they just say, hey, bring on whoever you want, we'll just bring out a touch to the afternoon show in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, see if he wants to. I'll come on there. We can talk Twitter fights. That'll be fun.
There you go. I like this.
This could turn into a beautiful thing here.
Mother's Day. Did y'all do anything out of the ordinary for Mother's Day?
No.
Yeah. I feel like one thing I've learned is that Mother's Day is the most popular time for restaurants or something like that. And just you might maybe normally expect Christmas Eve or Valentine's Day or other holidays that seem to be more food oriented. Maybe Mother's Day is food oriented. I don't know, but it kind of surprised me to find out that Mother's Day is apparently the busiest day for restaurants.
Well, I live quite a ways away from my mom and stepmom, so that would be why I don't do much for Mother's Day. But that's just me.
I moved back. I kind of got in trouble.
Oh boy,
this Mother's Day.
Oh.
You're
making it all about the Pacers because Pacers played on Sunday too on Mother's Day.
No, it was not about. Well, that was a priority of the day, but I won't lie. And we always go to my grandma's for lunch or dinner at noon. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. We go over there to eat every Sunday, and I knew my mom was going to be there, and I didn't show up with flowers.
Oof.
It's a miss. It was a miss. It was my fault. My fault. I righted the wrong, but it was too late. She was absolutely correct to be mad, and I righted the wrong.
Hey,
too late.
I messed up in a different way, like the same thing, but not the same occasion. So last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. And, you know, my wife's a teacher. I don't know if I've mentioned that on the show before, but she is.
Here coming.
Huh?
Nightmare coming. I know it.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Every year I've always done something. It's never something super extravagant. I'm really not that kind of person. Maybe I should be more often than I am. But I always used to do flowers, chocolates, a little note, that kind of thing. Like it's all the way to either Friday night or Saturday. And I was I went ahead and bought the flowers I bought for my mom for Mother's Day. And I come in the house with the flowers and my wife goes, "Those for me?"
And
it wasn't the tone that I just said wasn't like it wasn't that confrontational, but she just asked if those were for her. And I'm like, no, these are for my mom for Mother's Day. And
you
she's
said
like, oh,
no?
I thought, yeah, I just straight up. I didn't lie about it. That was my opportunity. I could have just been like, yeah, honey, here you go.
Easy
Happy
out.
Teacher Appreciation Week.
Sorry, it's late.
It's not that I did very subtle things throughout the week, but I never explicitly said
very
it
subtle.
was for teacher appreciation.
Yeah.
I went to Crumble Cookie, got a few extra cookies. She actually asked me to do that, but I got her more than she asked for. So that was a subtle little thing. Got Chick-fil-A one night. She's a big Chick-fil-A person, but I dropped the ball. I didn't go out of my way to get her own flowers or chocolate or a little, even like write a note without her saying something. But again, like you, Mitchell, with your mother, I rectified it later. It was still too late. When it's too late, it's too late. You can rectify it all you want.
Absolutely.
But sometimes when it's too late, there's just no turning back from it.
It's too late.
I do like that you started this off with, I went to Crumble Cookie, which she asked me to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I gave her more than she asked for. That was the kind of the point, is what I was getting at with that. Again, still not explicitly going out of my way to do something that's an original thought.
Correct.
But yeah.
I do have something to say, though. This is in relation. This has nothing to do with flowers. Mother's Day reminds me, but even if it's someone's birthday or some other similar event, I was catching some flack because I didn't text my mom first thing in the morning.
Okay.
When I know that I'm going to see her in person. And I've had this happen a couple other times where, like, hey, have you told so-and-so happy birthday? No, I'm going to see them in 5 hours in person. I'm going to give them a hug. I feel like that would be better. But then you show up and he's like, dude, your wife texted me and you didn't. I'm like, I'm right here telling you in person. This is better. When did it become not as good to wait a little and do it in person than to be like the first one?
Here's what I think. I guess it's just one thought because I thought it was two separate things. Which because I agree with you. The in-person thing is great, but the fact that your wife decided, I think there's a complex with whoever the recipient was like, wow, Laura decided to prioritize me more so than Mitchell did.
So what you're telling me is I got to fight my wife, my pregnant wife.
This is the problem.
Yeah, she's the problem. Okay. No taken. I'll tell her this is from John. And a little
just be like, hey, we're from now on, we're gonna wait until we get to
we're an in-person family.
Yeah.
We need to have the talk. Yeah. We're an in-person
and it's kind of
family.
like this is kind of in the same vein as that too, like text messages versus phone calls. To me, I love a phone call more than a text. It depends on what it is, I guess. But if I'm wanting to talk to somebody, what did you say? You call me a psychopath?
I said, are you one? You would prefer
why does it make
somebody
me a
call you?
psychopath preferring to do a phone call?
I agree with him, Dustin.
Oh, okay.
2 for 1 on the psychopaths.
I guess I'm outnumbered on this. Okay.
So give me your reason, Dustin. Why is calling someone versus a text message psychopathic behavior?
I am not okay. Well, it's not really psychopathic behavior. It's just, did I change with the times? Maybe I don't know. I feel like I have nothing usually to offer on the other end of a phone call. So sometimes I do. Sometimes I can talk a long time on the phone, but usually I don't. And so I'm just
maybe
like,
it's your introverted nature. Do you feel like you're introverted more so than you're extroverted?
Yes, I believe so. Yes. At least at first. I don't know. I just would prefer a text as opposed to a call. Not on
Here's
everything.
the thing, like I don't mind either one. I mean, even for the occasion doesn't really matter, but there are certain days where family will text me and I don't necessarily ignore them, but like I'll be in modes where I don't want to be near my phone. So I might go 3 or 4 hours where I don't respond to something that my mom or dad or siblings might text to me. Or if people, and this is a very common thing nowadays, whether it be with Instagram or TikTok, people will send me videos. Like it's like a message thread just full of videos. And once it gets full enough, let's just say there's like 5 or 6 videos in there. That might be a small number for most people. Sometimes my wife will have like 60 or 70 TikToks from her sister, and that's not a joke. But if my brother sends me 6 or 7, seeing that large number of videos and feeling like that is a time commitment to view, I just won't watch them. It'll be that big of a low for me. I'm like, I just don't want to get near it because it feels like it is a time commitment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing why I prefer phone calls. Phone calls, I get to the point in 2 minutes, and then I hang up and I don't have to talk to you anymore. A text message requires 2, 3, 10 times for me to pick up and respond to you.
Yep.
I have 2 modes. You call me. If there's something that we need to do, call me and we will do it. If there is something that we do not need to do, nothing to say, do not call me. Do not text me. Do anything. A text, it just sits there. I'm never going to respond to it. Never. Most times, never.
Unless the Pacers are playing and it's me texting.
Then I'm probably already texting you.
If
it's a sporting event, I'm probably already texting angry texts. That's my outlet. But if we're just normal run-of-the-mill day and you say, like, hey, what's up? I'm not responding to that text.
Right.
And it's not, I like you.
No, that's
I
fair.
care about what you're doing. But if you're not asking me to do something or ask me a specific question, I'm not going to answer that. That's why on a phone call, hey, what's up? What's up? What do you need? This is what I need. Okay, we're done. Hang up. And that's less than a minute. It's way less brain commitment to this. Now I can move on to that task. You have a thought.
No, go ahead.
When this is old man yelling at the clouds or whatever, but same vein as the first person to text versus in person. Why all of a sudden do I have to text you back in like 5 seconds? Why am I not allowed to wait 2 days? Like I just didn't have an answer. I don't know. Hey man, did you see my text? Yeah. Why didn't you answer it? I didn't have an answer for you at the time.
Right.
I will get back to you. Maybe.
This happens to me. So first of all, what I'm learning is that you guys have much more serious conversations. I mean, I just text absolute nonsense to my friends all the time.
I
mean,
talk
it
about
is-
video games. Are you getting online? That is an urgent message. Yes, I am getting online if you are. Sports, I care about that. I will text you about that. Work, 25% of the time care what they're saying. 75% I don't respond. So those are my conversations. You have different conversations than that?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to go through one.
He's going through his
Today-
history right now.
I am, because I had a conversation with Dustin's acquaintance about whether or not he should get these chili dogs because they looked good. And so we had a conversation about hot dogs there for a good 10, 15 minutes. And then also I had a conversation with Andy Hater 1 about we have this. He texts me a lot of his bets, like
Well, like
sports
that.
bets.
I do have a thread of friends that we
And-
don't do it so much right now, but during the big sports seasons, we do a lot of that stuff.
And during as he was like typing out a message, he put in bet the, and then the next word that popped up in like the autofill was under, so it read bet the under. That's how much talk about gambling.
I like
So
that.
he thought that was funny, so we talked about that for a little bit. So I just like legitimately just have nonsensical conversations that are fun, lighthearted, and I will do that all day. But to your point, I sometimes have trouble. Like, I might look at a text message and be working and then set my phone down and then completely forget about it until the next day. So
How many people do you have those conversations with?
probably, let's see, 1, 2, I don't know, probably 4.
Okay, that's a fair number. And we've already talked about on this show, like you have great relationships with your friends.
Mhm.
I think I've got 2 people that I can have that kind of conversation, talk about whatever with. So I was under the impression that you just were like talking to your coworkers, talking to
Oh,
the guy
no.
down the street. I'm like,
No.
that is weird, dude. you got too much time on your hands. You got to do something with your life.
No, these are
Dustin's
just
the guy who drives down in his neighborhood street and he sees like the neighbors outside. He's like, "Hey, little Timmy, riding his bike. Be safe. Put your helmet on."
Yeah, and stops and put the kickstand down on his bike.
You know what? I did not do that, but a few weeks ago I did see, and I thought, should I intervene here? You know those old shows that are like, what would you do if type things, the scenarios where you're supposed to be the good Samaritan,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
half the time or 75% of the time people just don't do anything. I was walking the dog and school had just let out, and I saw a youth lighting up a cigarette. And I thought
how old was this youth?
He couldn't have been older than like 13.
I love it.
Okay.
What
And
a demon.
I was like,
This is a
I'm going to
demon.
walk up to this kid and yank the cigarette out of his mouth and just be that old guy. And I was like, this is not my job. That's not my child.
This kid is. Can you imagine how much that kid gets in trouble at school? Like his teacher's going home. National Teacher Appreciation Week. This is so stupid how my brain just forms like
But this,
scenarios. This kid's smoking cigarettes. He gets off the bus. Teacher Appreciation Week. The teacher goes home. Husband doesn't get her anything for Teacher Appreciation Week. No flowers, no nothing. Finally, after a long week with the cigarette kid, gets home on a Friday. Husband comes home with flowers. Are those for me?
no.
You should have gone up to him, Dustin, and you should have stopped and be like, "Taking a load off, man," and just see what he would have said.
Let me get some of that.
You got a light? You got another one of
Got a
those?
light.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was so determined when I first saw it. I'm like, well, this isn't right. And then I'm like, well, when did I become like a 35-year-old teacher in the middle of the
moral
street?
police.
Yeah, I
Morality
was not the
police,
moral
whatever.
police. And then I thought, you know what? This is the kid's parents' problem to deal with. Because if I say anything, they don't know who I am. They don't know where I live, but I bet they'll figure it out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if I was a 13-year-old menace to society, I think if some random stranger comes up to me and is like, that's going to kill you. That's going to have a lot more impact on me
See,
than my mom and dad. Like
That's
this random
true.
stranger's got. You start really getting in your head like maybe God did send him, but like God sent this person to me. I'm supposed to be doing bigger things. Like I can't be smoking cigarettes. I'm only 13. Next time you see him, just hey man, those will kill you.
I need to work on what I'm going to say in this situation because I should just be really weird about it. If you smoke enough of those, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
Like-
I think there's definitely a fine line with a 13-year-old boy. Like you can't go up there and be too weird because then you end up in jail. I've been reading.
That's also great.
My mind is in a
This is
weird
why I
place.
feel like I should just avoid the situation at all
Yeah.
costs moving
Yeah.
forward.
Dustin, you mentioned you were talking about the dog thing, your dog walking situation with the cigarette, and it reminded me of last week. Mitchell and I on the show we did by ourselves. I talked about a dog walking experience that I had in my neighborhood. It was not your typical. There were some things that happened on the dog walk with other people's. I know you haven't gone back and listened to the episode yet, but with other people's houses and people not leashing their dogs up and letting them roam free kind of around the neighborhood. So,
Okay.
And, having some bad encounters with my dog. So, we had a caller call the hotline 502-830-9195 that wanted to, I guess, give some advice on all that. So I'll let that roll.
Hey guys, this is Mama Cat. Just want to say, hey, loving the show. Listen to you guys every week. I was listening to you guys this week about the dog issues, walking through the neighborhood. Easy fix, get you some mace. I love animals. I love dogs, but if a dog's going to be aggressive and come after you or your wives, use the mace. This may cause a controversy, but I say use the mace. Keep up the good work, guys.
I like it.
Shout out to Mama Cat for that one. But yeah, mace. Obviously, I feel like mace, I don't really know where to go with this. So obviously, men aren't really known for carrying around mace. So I don't really know if that's something that I would feel like I should do. And maybe I'm sounding very old school by saying that. Do you two, is that a normal thing? Do men carry mace?
I mean, I don't know. I thought that's a funny distinction. I've never thought about who carries mace.
No, I haven't either.
I know it's common for women, and because I mean, whenever women are out alone, like sometimes they're not safe, and it's unfortunate that we live in a society where women feel that way. But I mean,
shoot, I feel that way. Maybe I'll get some mace. But I
don't know how
that,
comfortable I'd be spraying it in a dog's face. And again, I know that's what Mama Cat was trying to say, that maybe it's kind of a controversial thing to mace somebody else's dog. But I guess once they're kind of invading your privacy.
If that dog bit me when it did, I wish I had some mace. I would have maced that thing's eyeballs all the way around, glazed it, all around there.
Yeah. Ultimately, that falls on the responsibility of the other owner.
Yeah.
Your dog was about to eat me.
Yeah, so what happened, Dustin? I'll give you a little context. So there was two instances. The first one wasn't super. I mean, neither one, nobody got hurt, but the second one was just more of an aggressive situation. The first house that we came upon in our neighborhood, the dog was out in the front yard, and the owner was out there with it, but it was unleashed, and it was just kind of roaming free. And the dog decided to come over to me and Alicia and our dog and just get in our business, and kind of freaked my dog out. And then the owner comes over, finally tries to bring it back in, and then the dog starts running away from him. So just a loose dog that's apparently not trained very well. And that was what it was. And then later on, same dog walk, but at the very end, there's a house. There was 3 dogs in the backyard. There's a fenced in backyard, but one of the dogs decided to jump the fence and come after us. And it acted very aggressive. I believe it tried to bite my dog. The dog didn't get actually bite. It just kind of looked like it did, but I was freaking out. I grabbed Lily, my dog, and my wife grabbed the collar of the neighbor's dog and just took it up to the neighbor's house and said, "Hey, your dog got out," and being much more abrasive than that, obviously. But yeah, that's what happened. And then the other thing that I brought from this, and Dustin, you may kind of, I guess, I feel like you and I have the same personality when it comes to this kind of thing. I do not like confrontation.
Nope.
So in both of those situations, I felt like I had an opportunity where I could have said something and decided not to, especially with the first one. Like, because I really wanted to tell the guy who was letting his dog just roam free in the front yard, like, hey, what are you doing? Like, that's very irresponsible. And some multiple people and or animals can get hurt in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, this probably going to get me in trouble at some point, I'm sure. But like, I'm very non-confrontational, and I try to think about like, okay, well, I could have a brain lapse. Like sometimes I make mistakes too. I'm not going to try to criticize people or get overly angry about a situation. But if I get mad enough, I will say something, and it's usually not very pleasant what I have to say. So
And that's the
takes
thing.
me
I
a
feel
long
like
time to get to that point. But like, if that would have happened to me, like that did happen. Excuse me, that did happen to me at one point when I was living in Georgia. It was like, but it was like these small, I don't know what they were, some sort of terrier dogs. So they were small enough. And these people would let them out unleashed. And I didn't think anything of it the very first time it happened, but came up and like was barking, got in Biscuit's face, kind of scratched him a little bit. Okay, the dog got, my reaction was, okay, they apologized. Okay, no big deal, whatever. Got out. Maybe it wasn't their fault, whatever. But it happened 2 more times. And by the third time, I was like up in the guy's face, like, get your shit together, man. Like,
and that's the thing. What I feel like usually
And
happens
so-
with me is, and it doesn't happen often, but I let things fester and kind of marinate. Like I'm
Mhm.
very slow to anger, but when it builds up to a certain level, it almost gets unleashed to a point to where it seems like it's unhealthy. It's like, hey, dude, calm down. Like, why are you getting so mad? Like, sometimes people say going from 0 to 100, that kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
I don't get angry often, but when I do, it's just it all comes out at once. And again, probably not a healthy way still, even though it seems like it is. It's just, I don't know, a very weird way to cope with it, I guess.
Take a boxing class. You just hit the bag as hard
How
as
is
you
that
want.
going? Are you doing that every week?
Yeah. Well, yeah, twice a week. It's a good way.
What
It's
is
a
that?
good way to get
Give
it
you
in your
just a way
aggression.
to, I don't know, release endorphins, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it just wears you out. So you don't hold on any anger or whatever. Which I don't have a lot anyway, but if something makes you angry throughout the week, you just take it out of that
Dustin the
punching
Mellow.
bag and you feel better.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of so I started training these youngsters like a sports performance, actually with Nick Stoner. Some IU fans will remember, wide receiver back in the day, but kind of the same idea. Like going out and just exercising. I think the point of this story is I'm just a fat slob, and just doing any kind of movement is a good reminder. So take your boxing class, John. You'll feel better. Get sweating. Get ready. Get loose. Move them hips. You got sweet feet. Are you good at jump rope?
Am I good at jump rope? I mean, I was in elementary school. I remember you remember jump rope for heart? Whenever you say that's so it comes to mind immediately. Remember when jump rope for heart was a thing?
No, what do you do?
It's like a charity thing that a lot of elementary schools did where you would have a day of PE class where you do nothing but jump rope, and there were like different contests and stuff, and you could win prizes, something like that. I know I'm probably missing some of the details, but that was
How
kind
many
of the
jump
gist
ropes
of
do you
it.
think you could do in a row? Just 2 feet standard jump rope right now.
Right now, if I did it, I bet I could get 20 at the most without messing up.
Bro, what? Are you serious? That's it?
What's a good number? I don't know. I don't
A lot
do
more
a
than
jump rope.
20? 20 jumps?
Here's the thing: if you're asking me, like, if it was right now, you hand me a jump rope, I stand up, haven't jump roped in years. I guarantee you, I'll mess up at least the first time pretty quickly into it.
And
even
it
if it's
depends
like
on how
20
you're
jumps.
doing it. Like, are you doing it at lightning speed, or are you just doing it like one leg at a time? Like,
Dude,
I'd just probably do it.
I give you a jump
general
rope,
way.
and the only rule is do as many
Jump.
as you can in a row. You can switch. You can go 2 feet, 1 foot, doesn't matter. Any speed. You can double bounce. I don't care.
I bet if I was able to practice, I could do more than 20. But like if I'm just going in raw and haven't done it in years, that sounded wrong. That's what she said. But I could probably do about 20.
What about you, Dustin?
if I can do it at any speed,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like 200.
Yeah. I'm in the hundreds for sure.
And I think here's the crazy thing though. So when I did this was back when I first moved to Indiana when I did like the kickboxing stuff, which wasn't as fun. Nonetheless, one of the first exercises you do is like you grab a jump rope. Like
Yeah.
it was 3 minutes of straight jump rope. And I was like, okay, this would be a good warm up. Except it really wasn't because I was exhausted after 1 minute. Because I don't know how to like pace myself properly and listen to my body. I'm like, I'm just going to go balls to the wall here and then go, like as fast as you can, both legs, switching it up like Ali. And I was exhausted. I mean, I could not do probably more than 5 or 6 after the first minute. Now
I'm
I
gonna have to
probably
do it for time. I've never done it for time, but
it is exhausting.
I bet I could do 500 straight jump ropes right now. Like,
I mean,
pretty easy.
I guess.
That was
This should be
20
a punishment. This should be a punishment of some sort.
Punishment,
20
punishment
is
wheel.
crazy. Like 20? Come on.
I think you could do more than 20. I don't, but I think you would if you just did like one leg at a time, bouncing.
And I'm not
through.
trying. Here's the thing with the like. It's not saying that I can't do more than 20. I'm just trying to be like. I guess I just set the bar low as somebody who just thinks they would mess up. You know what I mean? That's kind of what
fair.
I'm.
That's fair.
At.
But
anyway,
if you do boxing, you'll be jump roping a whole bunch.
That's
big.
true.
Every boxing
probably
movie
won't
has a
kickbox
sick
or box.
montage of jump roping.
Maybe I'll just punch holes in my house. That's probably not a good idea, but
That's not a good idea.
Yeah. You're just definitely don't do it on Teacher Appreciation Week.
that's right. I got a whole nother year. All right, a couple lighthearted things. Mitchell, this one's kind of for you. I don't know if you've seen this. Do you follow the Stinger Golf Twitter account?
I don't.
So I saw this, I guess it was about a week or so ago, and I wanted to get to it before it got too old or before you potentially saw it. But this dude is taking a swing, and there is a guy, if you can see, if you're on YouTube, there's a guy with some bagpipes. And I can't tell if this tweet is trying to be like funny or sarcastic, but the caption says, doesn't get much better than this. But I feel like what ends up happening in this video is super... like annoying if you're playing golf. So I'll just let it play and I'll let you guys react to it.
Wait. Before you play, can you expand it so we can see? Can you hit the full screen?
Yeah, we'll full screen it. Here we go.
There we go. Thank you.
No, this is sick. Playing that, you got the mountains in the background. I'm roasting that ball. Roasting. My adrenaline is
You're a fan of the bagpipes while you're taking a swing.
My adrenaline is through the roof. I am roasting that. So, the reason that I know that is, so I played in the Barstool Classic, which I don't know if anybody is familiar at all that's listening, whatever. But on one of the holes, it's not like a traditional USGA event where everything is like, I mean, we're trying to win, and we did win. So like we played well. And on one of the holes, they set up like a DJ booth with two of the guys on the Foreplay podcast, the Barstool one. And you got to pick up walk-up song that he played while you were teeing off on the first tee. And as all four of us play all of our songs, the adrenaline is just, I mean, I had less adrenaline running out onto the field at Ohio State than I had standing on the first tee with this music cranking. Because you're a little bit nervous. You got these people watching. The music's cranked. I hit that ball. I mean, I have some decent speed in my swing. That was a whole nother gear that I unlocked. That thing was roasted. And bagpipes, just the sound of it, it's much cleaner than like I played Dear Maria, Count Me In. I got some pictures. I'll take them with you. You know that song?
I think if I heard it, I'd know it.
Yeah.
Off the
Okay.
top,
So it's like an old punk, like pop punk kind of song. Just super fast and high pace and adrenaline inducing. Bagpipes is it's slower and cleaner. So you could probably even use it as like a metronome kind of deal for your swing because it's a repetitive thing that he's playing. Yeah, that ball is going to the moon.
Next time you play in this tournament, your song needs to be something with bagpipes then.
I'm playing in the tournament or the national championship in November this year. It's the same one I played in last year, so I'm sure we'll get a walk-up song. We'll have to all pick it together, and I'll get a video of it and send it to you guys.
Yes, I need bagpipes.
Yeah. They do that. So that's a bigger tradition than you think. So There's a place in Michigan called Arcadia Bluffs that every day at like 5:30 or 6 or maybe even later, it's like as the sun's going down, a guy gets up and plays the bagpipes right on the big hill by the clubhouse, and it can be heard all over the course. It's like one of their biggest traditions. I've never been there for whatever reason, but I need to go. People say it's the coolest thing ever. When the sun's just going down, you've got dunes and the water, and you hear the bagpipes. They say it's unbelievable. So I think
Dustin,
that
would you be a fan of somebody playing bagpipes over you swinging the golf club?
I don't like when my brother is in the golf cart on the tee box next. Like I get ridiculously nervous. Now it's usually gone after like the first tee, but I hate playing with people I don't know. I get so nervous. And so I think it would be cool to have that, but the entire time my head would be like, please don't shank it. Please don't shank it. I don't care where it goes. Just make it look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
usually I don't anyway, but
golf is different. If there's 3 people watching me that I don't know, you start getting the shakes, your hands sweat.
You know what's funny though? Here's what's weird, and I don't know if I can explain this either. Maybe it's because I'm more focused, but it seems to me like I get super nervous when people are around me watching, and then I usually hit like my best shot. I have no idea what it is.
You go through the process, you like force yourself to slow down.
Yes, I think that's what it is. I'm like,
relax.
I don't want to mess this up so badly that I just take my time.
You take a deep breath and you get yourself set before you start your takeaway versus trying to play as fast as possible.
Yeah.
There's definitely something that can be said for that. Absolutely.
I feel like I need to take up golf. I need to become more of a Pacers fan, and I need to learn how to play golf. I feel like is it too late? It's not too late for me, right?
It's never too late.
It's never. It's never too late. As long as I don't mean this in the wrong way, but as you're learning, just play behind me.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be out in the front. But it's the best game in the
world.
Just
wait, Mitchell. Just wait. I'm learning. You got to be patient with me. Just wait, Mitchell.
It's the best sport.
But that's me before every shot. I'll turn around and look, like, Mitchell. Wait. Take a deep breath and let me hit the ball.
A chance. I'll already be gone.
Here's the thing. I would just come to heckle. Because you take it so seriously that it would piss you off, wouldn't it, if I came to heckle?
You couldn't.
I'd probably get kicked out of the course, actually. I wouldn't even make it.
I think the problem, John, you're barking up the wrong tree here. I'm a master at this.
That's right. I forgot I'm talking with the guy who is not afraid to just call anybody out on Twitter.
Yeah, I am not the first person that you should try this with. You'll be on the first tee thinking I'm just going to heckle him the whole time. And then all of a sudden, tables have turned, and now you don't understand why. Like, wait, is he talking about me or? And then it won't be any fun for you. So you gotta tune in your talk track a little bit, and then you come play the Pokemaster.
I would imagine that a lot of those mad skills were picked up against defensive backs.
In high school, mostly in basketball.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Well, in college, everybody was so huge that I was typically I was falling on the ground and getting away from them as fast as possible.
Sure.
So I wanted as little interaction with those guys as I could possibly get. But in high school, I played like single A high school football. So I was as big as everybody and typically a lot faster than them. So I could just say whatever I wanted and usually back it up. But then in basketball was just in your face. Like there was just a lot more one-on-one interaction, playing defense, going to offense. Yeah, I learned how to run my mouth at a high rate. I always made sure that I had someone big that could protect me.
Yes, that's key.
Always I needed it. You survey your surroundings, make sure there's somebody that likes you enough to at least break up a fight, and then you pick your battle. And typically you hone in on one guy. Like that Knicks guy, you just find him. I found him immediately, and you just hone right in on him. We were a little bit too far away. If that guy was sitting next to us, he probably would have tried to fight me, and he would have won. I don't claim to be a good fighter. I claim to be a good trash talker.
And
when the fists start throwing, I'm running away as fast as possible. So someone else is going to have to fight that fight. But I'll get the fist started for sure.
You'll be the diplomat that gets the war started.
Yes. Yeah, I'm good for business.
Did y'all see the I think this was today, at least I saw it today. There was a woman who was living inside of a sign at a store.
Yes.
Inside
And
of
she
what?
apparently got away with this for nearly a year. She became known, at least today she became known as the Rooftop Ninja. And it's a store called Family Fare. And it's not like your typical store sign. It's kind of like when you think of Big Lots. Like you're not looking at the store sign that's like hanging by the road. It's like in the sign that's above the actual building.
Yeah.
What's this lady's moniker?
The Rooftop Ninja. So apparently people who worked at the store would see her from time to time, but would just suddenly vanish. So I guess maybe they thought she was just a regular, but they never really thought anything of it until they noticed an extension cord running out from, I guess, where she was living in the sign. And the authorities were contacted. And apparently when they came to, I guess, her door, I don't even know what it would look like, but where she was living, whenever they opened the door, she's like, I know why you're here. I'll be out of here, immediately. I'll be out here shortly. So she got away with living in this sign and I guess coming and going. I don't know what this woman's profession was or anything, but a whole year? What are you doing? Apparently this woman had houseplants. She had, what else did she have in this room of hers? She made it like kind of like her own little dorm room essentially.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're homeless and you're trying to do what you can, a sign might be the way to go.
I saw the big part of this story, I think, is I follow Barstool, and a lot of those guys are in New York City. And the big thing they took away from the story was it's easier to get someone out of living, or it's worse to go live in a sign than to just take over someone's house and start living there, because it's easier to kick you out of the sign than someone else's house. Have you seen the squatters' rights for New York City? Like there's a lady that just moved in to this woman's house. Like she's like, you can't be here. They move in. Homeowners don't want them there. They tell the city, we want to kick these people out. And the law is that has to go through so many certain processes. They have to have not been there for so long. And you're not allowed to change the locks once they say, I live here. And the only thing that is required is for them to get mail to that address. So these people just wrote themselves a letter to that address, and then it's their house. And this house is worth like $2.5 million.
That is insane.
If you want to look up something that's going to infuriate you about America, just look up the New York City squatters, and I think it's just New York State squatters stories, because there's hundreds of them just like that.
Huh.
It's crazy. And they can't kick them out. They still can't kick them out. The girl that was moving in that didn't buy the house was suing the homeowner for kicking her out. And this was a couple weeks ago now, but last I heard, the girl that moved in was going to win the case against the homeowner. And the homeowner, because she changed the locks, was going to go to jail.
That's dumb laws right there.
You should look that up. Look that up. If you want to get infuriated before bed, do that.
What a great thing. Let's just get angry before bed.
You want to get just mad as a hornet.
Dustin, do you have thoughts?
No, I just wondered if this woman, this rooftop ninja, was. Remember a few weeks ago or months ago, however long ago it was, we talked about that guy who just like hid in the bushes and tried to live.
the YouTube guy.
Yeah, maybe they
the
teamed
public
up.
Camper.
I think this woman should get her own reality TV show, just like living in random things for a year.
So apparently, the sign she was living in was it had a 10 to 15 foot like hollow peak. So I guess it was just a very spacious interior that could have probably put a number of things in there.
I was going to say it's more space than some apartments. Definitely.
And free rent.
Free. Depending on where she's living, this could have been $1,500 a month she was saving.
Midland, Michigan was where this was at.
Oh. That's funny.
Is that close to where I know you're up in Michigan fairly frequently. Is it close to where you're near?
Oh, I've been there.
You been to Midland?
Yeah, I've been all over.
You need to go to the family fair in Midland and go
I'm
find
gonna check
out.
it out. I'll actually
Yeah.
be up that way Thursday.
Huh.
So maybe I'll go see if the door's unlocked.
There you go.
Let's so last week I mentioned that we are finally going to bring back town names, and backed by, I don't even know if I want to say by popular demand, but it was backed by some demand. It was backed by, oh no, I'm losing all of my town names. Where'd they go? You ever do group tabs? And sometimes it just, like, you don't mean to make group tabs, but like they just are. And then you try to ungroup them and they try to disappear.
Yes.
Okay, we got it fixed, but yeah, that's what just happened. But yeah, we're bringing back town names, town name trivia, Dustin versus Mitchell, and we have a punishment wheel. We'll see what happens. And remember, so it's just two, right? Yeah, two apiece. And then if there's a clear loser, then the loser has to suffer the punishment wheel. But if Dustin and Mitchell both get each of theirs correct, then I have to spin the punishment wheel. So,
can I make a request?
What is the request, Mr. Page?
How involved are the punishments for today? Because it is 11 p.m. and I have to work.
Oh, they're not. So I think I mentioned this a long time ago, back when we first came up with the punishment wheel. So there's only 3 on here for now, and we may change them. And we don't even have to do them. This is just kind of an experiment, I guess. But most of them, whenever we'll keep trying to do these at the end of each episode where we do them. We're not going to do this every week, maybe once a month, that kind of thing, or twice, depending on how much is going on. But the thought process for me was the loser has to do the punishment at the beginning of next episode, or if it's kind of like a whole episode ordeal, there are different kinds of punishments.
Okay. I like it.
But yeah, it's not for now. It'd be for next episode.
I like it. Okay. It's 11 p.m.
He's like, hurry up.
Yeah.
I cannot believe we're recording. This is the latest we've ever recorded, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that
sometimes it's the way it goes. We got the Pacers tomorrow, so
yeah, that's the whole thing. Our whole schedule is about the Pacers right now.
That's right.
That's
all right. Let's go ahead and do these. Get my incorrect list so I don't just read off correct names. We'll start with Dustin. We've got, and by the way, this is for Delaware. We're on Delaware. And a little fun fact: I'm going on vacation soon again.
There's only like 9 towns in Delaware.
We're gonna go to Delaware just for shits and giggles, I guess.
That place is cool.
So here we go, Dustin.
From Delaware.
Weirdest guy you've ever met from Delaware? Why is he so weird real fast?
He's a pretty uncomfortable guy to be around. Just, I don't know. He's lost a lot of deals for me in my life. I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Yeah. He just gets a little too familiar, if you know what I'm saying. Like just a little touchy. I'm good with him.
So real quick, I don't have the buzzer and the dinger, unfortunately, so I'm going to do my own makeshift dings today. Dustin, we got Desolate Isle or Slaughter Beach.
Golly. Desolate Isle or Slaughter Beach.
I know, isn't that such a travesty? How similar.
Slaughter Beach, because I feel like that could be a last name.
That is correct. Slaughter Beach is the real town name.
Way to go.
So 1 for Dustin.
All right,
and
no
1
pressure.
against me, I should say. Mitchell. All right, we've got Butcherton and Broadkill.
I feel like Dustin and I are kind of on the same team in these because I just want John to have to do the punishment.
I know they want me to do it.
So I'm like looking into Dustin's eyes, like, give me the answer.
What do you think it is? What is it?
You said Butcherton and who?
Broadkill.
Broadkill. Let's go with Broadkill.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Broadkill, Delaware. Look at that. 2 for 2.
Coming for you, kid.
Here we go. It could be me who does the punishment for the first time. We got long neck or short head. That's for Dustin, obviously.
Long neck or short head. This is tough.
I definitely need to get some background music, just some very low key.
I'm so stressed right now. This is me on the first tee with 18 people watching me tee off.
All the pressure is on Dustin, and then if he gets it right, then on Mitchell to make me be the loser.
Short head.
That is incorrect. Damn. Long neck, Delaware.
Idiot.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. That's right. So I got this. To
And
make
here's the thing.
Dustin
So if
look-
Mitchell gets it wrong, then it's a tie, and there's no punishment this week because for me to get the punishment, it's got to be both.
Right.
To completely
yeah,
sweep.
so feels like John gets off pretty easy in this.
That is, I guess that is kind of the case, isn't it? I get off a little easier than most.
But you
But
also
here's the thing,
have to
though.
do the
Like,
work.
I can't
You have to
get
do the work
punished
coming up with them.
because, yeah, so tie can't be an auto punishment because I fooled you.
Yeah, you have to do all the work coming up with all this. So I
That's
like that.
true.
If we get them all, you're punished. You're
So
the
let's
only one
find
that
out
really
if
does any work
Mitchell-
for this, I think.
Do what?
You're the only one that does any work for this, I think.
That
I
is
certainly
true.
don't.
That is true.
Yeah,
But nobody
correct.
gets paid. So that's why I just have to take the initiative. I just have to do it.
I like it.
So last one. Spears or blades?
Spears.
Blades.
Golly.
Hey, so that means
Nobody's
no
punished.
punishment. That means no punishment.
You're welcome.
Dustin would have had to spin the wheel. So I guess until next time, we will well, you also have to wait and see what the 3 initial punishments are on here. But they
That's
will
fair.
remain a surprise.
All right,
so.
perfect.
Town names are back. We'll do them either once a month, once every other week, whatever I feel like. And it's our show. We do
You're
whatever
the
the heck
boss.
we want. So yeah, it's about that time. We're over an hour. Good show today. We went over a ton of stuff. Welcome back, Dustin, again. And hope you guys enjoy game 5 of Pacers Knicks. No
And game
comments,
6.
no exciting. Give me
They'll probably get
something.
game 5, 6, and 7 before we see them again. So next
That's
time we
true.
see them, we'll probably know if the Pacers are going to beat the Celtics or the Cavs.
That's true.
And I guess I'm sitting here. I know I did this before. When this comes out, we'll already know what happens in game 5. So it's all going to
Exactly.
be. So I guess we'll see what happens in game 6 and 7. So thanks for listening as always. It's been Out of Touch. We will talk to you next week.